Hi and welcome everybody to the Uncanny X-Men. My name is Philipp Tanzer, also known as Logan McCree. I'm terribly sorry that I didn't create any content for such a long time, but I was very busy with work, personal stuff, and I was also working on a lot of different projects. One of these projects is actually what I want to talk about today. It's a website called forman.international. And because it's quite a lot that I need to mention and that I have to talk about, it will be scripted this time. So I'm gonna read it out. I do apologize if that sounds a little wooden and lifeless, and if I sound like a German robot, but that's what I am. I am a German robot. So the website, yeah, it could be hugely beneficial to the men's rights movement if done right and supported by MRAs and male support groups. The website is supposed to be a hub and a guide for the men's rights movement and for men's issues. These are the things we will try to provide on forman.international. A list of all issues that predominantly affect men, legal, social, health, and relationship related. A catalog of reliable statistics, facts, and information that highlight men's issues. A guide to the manosphere. What are the different groups? How do they relate to each other? And who are prominent figures within these groups? A list of support groups, both locally and internationally. A network to connect the men's rights movement to address issues collectively and to support each other. We are not primarily planning on being content creators, but content collectors. I came up with this idea of the website when I, once again, had to Google reliable statistics on domestic violence. And as so often, I had to work my way through misrepresentations and feminist data before I found something more reliable. I thought to myself, there should be a website with reliable data and information ordered by topic, country, and if the information is academic or anecdotal. That's how forman.international was born. Me and some helpers are now trying to create a structure that is easy to use and easy to access. A place where every subscribed member can upload information to the right topic and share it with the public. The main topics we feature are manhood and masculinity, education and school, relationship and marriage, fatherhood, work, military and finances, homelessness and rough sleeping, violence, crime and prison, physical health, mental health, addiction, LGBTQ issues. You might wonder why there is the L for lesbians in there as well, but some people have lesbian daughters, and we want to support the fathers of lesbian daughters as well, of course. Then society, media, and culture. Each one of them have many subtopics. Let's look at the topic fatherhood. It has the following subsections: being a dad, differences between boys and girls, reproductive rights, paternity fraud, wrongful paternity, custody laws, fatherlessness, and parental alienation. Each one of them will have a place to post academic research, as well as anecdotal evidence and media coverage. I'm aware that will take time and a lot of effort to fill all these topics with content, and I believe the best way of doing this is to approaching experts in each topic and share their knowledge either as condensed new content or as links to previous publications. In addition to that, I think people should also be able to post whatever they find on the internet. Not only do we want to make information more accessible, but we can also compare what the differences are between countries in regards to men's issues. This can help the men's rights movement to make greater progress by capitalizing on the progress other countries have already made. Another great feature of the website will be a list of groups and individuals that deal with men's issues. Using a search engine, you can find the best match for your needs. Let's use an example. I'm looking for a group that supports male domestic violence victims. I type into the search engine domestic violence, Scotland, or my area, and male friendly. Of course, you could do that with Google, but the big difference is we will try to rate what support groups are really male-friendly and which ones are actually funded by groups with an opposing agenda. Lawyers, psychologists, doctors, academics, and many more can also have their own profiles if they are man-friendly. A big advantage of having these groups connected on our website is that we can easily reach and interconnect them all if one of them needs help or if we should work together to challenge new discriminatory legislation. We are still trying to figure out how we best rate the male friendliness and what proof we need to give a group a fresh review. But I'm pretty sure that if we work together, we can figure out something fairly easy and fair. The next feature is somewhat connected to the list of support groups, a guide to the manosphere. I'm aware many don't even like the word manosphere. It's a difficult topic since the manosphere is such a diverse, sometimes opposing pool of male-focused groups. The idea of this guide to the manosphere is to show in a graph what men's groups and also what feminist groups exist and what they roughly stand for. In this guide, you could also find a list of personalities and groups that are representative of a certain part of the manosphere and how to find their content. This creates a little problem and I'm interested in hearing your opinion and how to deal with this. I am an MRA, and this website is very clearly men's rights activist focused. But I fight for all men and I believe that MGTOW, men going their own way, PUAs, pickup artists, tradcons, traditional conservatives, incels, involuntary celibates, and all the others all do something valuable for man, and that aspects of their work and all of their experiences are important to create a better future. Some members of some of these groups are very opposed to the life choices and beliefs of some other groups. Of course, even I have preferences and opinions on what approach I prefer. Some groups are a bit extreme, and some are radical. By featuring them on our website, I open the website to being criticized of promoting extreme views, even though we just neutrally point out their existence. These groups being featured on our website also makes it easier for people to find them and potentially to support them. I think it is a risk that we have to take, and we should believe in the ability of man to make the right decisions. But my question is, when mentioning all these groups, should their description be neutral, or should there be a critical mentioning of how they are perceived by some others? I'm interested in your opinion. You can leave your comments in the comment section. The last feature on the website is, at least in theory, starting to become my favorite one. The battle feature. We are all fighting for a world that is fairer, not just for man, but for society as a whole, because it is obvious that if men suffer, society suffers. Even if mainstream society gets cause and effect wrong when they highlight this topic. The battle feature gives us the option to fight the battle together. Not too long ago, the Scottish government was starting to revise the hate crime laws. Feminist organizations were pushing for the inclusion of misogyny in the laws. The government body who was working on the laws proposed to include gender-based crime. But because this would include hate towards men, the feminist organizations were fighting against the inclusion of man as protected group, and they only wanted to include misogyny, not misandry. I opposed this sex discriminatory change in law, and the battle is still going on. Back then, and even now, I really could have used the help of some people that are smarter, better informed, and better at expressing themselves than me to oppose this law. For Man.International tries to make this happen. If there is an urgent issue that needs to be dealt with, we should stand together, shoulder to shoulder, to support each other. Resources can be shared. Posters and leaflets to highlight men's issues that were designed by MRAs in Australia can, with small alterations, also be used in the UK. Raw files could be ready to be downloaded on the website. All that MRAs around the world need to do is get them printed and hand them out. As you can tell, this is going to be a lot of work and I will need a lot of support and advice from the men's rights movement. This website has actually nothing to do with me and all to do with the men's rights movement. And I would love to get as many people involved to get this done as possible, because this great potential deserves better qualified people than just me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it and share it with other MRAs, and please leave a comment or get in touch with me on Twitter under Logan McCree 777 if you want to support me. Thank you very much. And at the end, I hope to see a lot of you at ICMI in Chicago. It's the International Conference on Men's Issues. I attended the one in London last year. It was absolutely life-changing. It was wonderful to meet so many like-minded people and have really interesting conversations. And you should really make the effort to come to Chicago. It happens in the end of August. Get your tickets now, and I hope to see you then. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.